Several months ago, I came across many men ties, but in the chaos of my ever-growing fabric stash, I managed to misplace them. I'm in a desperate need of a proper decluttering session because I have been collecting fabric with very little restraint. And I think it's safe to say that I have finally reached capacity. Stay tuned because I might film that. Now that I have reunited my ties, I want to transform them into a bag. Something along these lines. This isn't my first time upcycling a tie. Last year, I crafted a very small pouch out of a vintage Yves Saint Laurent tie, which I now use to carry all of my coins, my hair ties, and every small bit in my handbag. From that project, I mostly remember the fabric being a bit challenging to sew. It is so lightweight that it becomes slippery. So the first adjustment that I'm going to make this time is I'm going to switch to a finer needle because, small confession, I never switch my needles, and I've heard it makes all the difference. The inspiration bag I'm aiming for is quite similar to my favorite bag of all time, which is this one. So I think I'm gonna draft my pattern based on this shape. All right, let's get started. I have a confession to make. This video was already planned out, and I was hoping that I would get started today. But I did the one thing that you should never do before starting a project. I went to Pinterest. And now I don't know if I want to make that bag or if I want to make any other bag out there because they all look so wonderful and pretty. And I don't know. I'm having a hard time committing to a design. Anyways, what I thought I could do in the meantime is seam rip all of my ties to see just how much fabric I have. So that's what we're going to do in the meantime. Oh, and by the way, if my eyebrows look weird, I'm transitioning between the bleach eyebrows and my natural eyebrows. So just don't tell me, I know. Which in reality, nobody was ever mean to me about my physique so far, which I'm really grateful for. So thank you guys. You guys are really nice. I thought people would be nastier. So I guess this is a nice community, which I guess people who sew are nice. They have to be. I mean, you guys are already cool, so you must be nice. Which I'm not talking about myself, just to make that clear. I'm already being weird. See, this is exactly what happens when I'm not scripting. I start rambling about really random things and say stupid things. And you know what? I'm keeping this in. Mia, keep it in. Anyways, let's go seam rip. And I have a new seam ripper, and it works really well. I didn't know that seam rippers were supposed to seam rip. I thought you were supposed to struggle, but apparently not. Quick break because I would like to thank today's sponsor, Mrs. Quilty. Mrs. Quilty is a monthly subscription service that delivers boxes of a curated collection of premium cotton quilting fabrics, patterns, and tools right to your doorstep. Each box includes a magazine with easy-to-follow project with step-by-step instructions, but don't worry, they also have video tutorials on their channel if you need extra help like me. Mrs. Quilty makes quilting accessible from beginner to expert because each box comes with different levels of difficulty, which I'm so grateful for because I'm just getting started. They have a standard subscription box. It comes with 12 cotton fat quarters, which is more than they give you somewhere else, plus fun projects, surprise goodies, a quilting magazine, and bonus patterns. What I particularly love is that each month comes with new quilting blocks, and since I had zero experience quilting blocks before, it's been such a great way to learn. And now they've launched a brand new pattern-only box, so if you already have the fabric, you can still get patterns every month for fresh inspiration. Well, I have just finished my first quilting block, and this is really fun. In fact, I fear I might be unlocking a new obsession, which I don't know if I'm ready for this, but oh well. So whether you're starting out like me or you've been quilting for years, there's something here to spark your creativity, and you can use code MOJI20 to get 20% off your first order. The link is in the description box. All right, let's go back to the video. First one finished. All right, let's get cracking. I'm gonna keep all of these etiquette tags because I want to keep them as a souvenir inside of the bag. So I think I will be sewing them in the lining. I'm not convinced with the shape of the bags. I don't know, I feel like there's definitely something that I'm missing. I feel like I want it to be a bit more playful. I want ruffles. Which one have I not? I think I'm gonna give myself another day to think about the design, and I'll get started tomorrow. I'm wasting so much time, but I feel like I just want to be sure of what I'm doing. I'm gonna go on yet another Pinterest deep dive, because yesterday it did me dirty. But what if it helps today? I don't know, maybe. Never say never. I think procrastination has many forms. It can be not wanting to think about your chore or project at all, or on the contrary, it can be thinking about your project way too much. In my case, I started obsessing over the design. I thought when I see a bag I'm 100% sure of, I'll get started. But what happened is I kept looking and looking, and I was never sure. Because I would never be sure. I was afraid of getting started. These are all the bags that I feel inspired by and or that have caught my attention. So I feel like what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna look at all of the images and try to design something that is coherent, compatible. I feel like I might take one or two things from here and there and work from there. I'm laughing because I don't know where this is gonna go. But it's exciting. It's okay. We're gonna figure it out. Good morning. So I still have not made up my mind about the design, but it's fine because I have some ideas that I might include. I just need to find a way to make everything coherent. First, shape. So I'm still gonna do a sort of hobo type bag. I want it to be slightly more curved, so a bit more moon shape. I also thought about quilting the bag because most of the ties are made out of silk, and silk is very, very flimsy. So I was thinking maybe we could quilt to give some structure. However, I was also thinking, what if we include some sort of shirring? I know, I can't shut up about shirring, but I'm just obsessed. I'm just obsessed with shirring. So if I end up shirring, I won't be able to quilt because I feel like those two things are not compatible. Because as to now, I'm working with very flimsy ties, and I just have this synthetic lining that's waterproof, and it's also pretty thin. I was also thinking that instead of my ties laying vertically, I might want to place them diagonally. The main thing that I'm going to do now is I'm going to start patchworking just to see how much fabric I have and then maybe design the bag. I feel like I'm not doing things in the correct order. Here again, you can see that I was just not able to make up my mind. I played around with the ties so much and could not find a placement I was certain of. At this point, I thought I either quit or I give it my best try. I'm going to be presenting to you the Frankenstein bag because all I've been doing is just taking the things that I like from all the bags that I have and bags that I saw online to make another bag. I have no idea if this design even makes any sense, but I'm going to show you. So I think I'm going to start working on my strap because that seems like the less difficult part of this project. And I want to hype myself up. So yeah. So for my strap, I cut a rectangle that's 60 centimeters by 14. This is half of it because I'm going to fold here. And then we're going to sew 2 channels and introduce a cord that's going to get at here. Now, in order to attach this strap to our bag and be able to preserve our cords, we need eyelets. Now, I don't have an eyelet machine, but I found an alternative online. I'm not sure I'm going to do the best job, but basically, before I cut my straps, I'm going to go ahead and sew eyelet stitches. I'm scared. I forgot to do the embroidering before cutting, so we're gonna do it now. I've just finished making the eyelets, and for a first time, I would say it's decent looking. They're not the same size, but honestly, I don't even think this is gonna be noticeable. I think I should have probably practiced before doing it on the fabric, but I'm satisfied. So the next step is sewing the two straps right sides together and creating our channels. Strap is finished. Time to make the cords. My channels are 2.5 centimeters, but I need my cords to be able to fit into this eyelet. So I think I'm gonna make them 1 centimeter wide. This tie is 1 centimeter wide, and I think that should fit in there. I'm also not gonna press them because I want them to be roundish. And for the length, my strap is 120. I'm gonna make the cords 100 centimeters. Good morning. Last night I ended up finishing my strap off camera, and I am really happy. This looks super cute. This is the first corded shirring I've ever done, and I'm really happy with it. I also feel like I got the measurement just right, and let me show you my eyelet. I'm gonna try to show it to you as best as I can. I'm pretty happy with the strap. And I know some of you are gonna wonder, why didn't you use a tie for the strap? And the answer is quite simple. I just don't have enough ties, and I would have needed 2 ties, and they wouldn't have been long and wide enough. So that's why I am going to try to take advantage of every inch of the tie and perhaps make mini ties for the bag as some sort of bag accessory. I'm uncertain at this point if I'm gonna have enough, even for the main body of the bag. If I find that I don't have enough, I might just complement with some black fabric. But if you were wondering why I wasn't using ties for the strap, that's why. Now I need to figure out how to attach the strap to the bag. I could just sew it like this inside of the bag between the lining and the body. But I was thinking, what if I make this removable with some hooks? So I can actually use this for multiple bags. That could be fun. That could be fun. So that's also something that I need to figure out. In the meantime, the strap is finished. Let's do the bag. This is my pattern shape. And if you think this is way too big, the purpose is to perhaps do some cord shirring as well in the bag. Perhaps one line here in the upper seam and another one in the middle, or perhaps 2 cord shirring lines. I'm not really sure. This is how the bag would look like. It's a huge bag. What can I say? I love a big bag. I love a big bag. I find that big bags are the best bags. It's gonna be smaller. Believe me, it's gonna be smaller. I feel like I have been postponing the inevitable. Let's start patchworking. First trim. Here's my first side. As of right now, I don't see the vision, but I think I'm just going to trust the process, trust that this is going to become something wonderful and pretty. And I think we can do it. Honestly, I think we can. I'm going to go ahead and do a stay stitching line around everything to secure these points over here of tension. Might even serge the whole thing. I don't think that's a bad idea. And then I'm going to make the other side with these two ties. Let's continue. Hi, first of all, let me tell you that I am determined to finish this bag today. Secondly, I do need to take a couple steps back. Why? The bag is very flimsy. As is, it won't stand the test of time. It's just a couple fabrics sewn together and very thin fabrics. And it is a pretty large bag. So how do we fix that? Well, enters quilting. I know that I was originally planning to do some cord shirring on this bag, but I believe that quilting and shirring are not too compatible, or at least corded shirring, so I need to give that idea up. But if I give that idea up, I'm afraid that the bag is going to fall flat and be a bit uninteresting. So I was thinking perhaps we could add interest in the shape of a ruffle, because that absolutely fixes everything. So I do need to undo what I did last night, but that's fine. We have a mission today, and the mission is finishing the bag. In terms of quilting design, I think I'm going to go with just the natural shape of the patchwork. I feel like that makes a lot of sense. I was also debating whether to go all black thread-wise or play around with colors, because I feel like that could be fun. Black ties everything together because it's strap, because it's the main color of the ties. But I don't know. I like playing around. Very strange, but I think I'm going to go with black this time. Out of 10, do not recommend quilting a very thin and flimsy fabric. This one sort of looks okay. This one is very evidently botched. you can see where. I'm hoping that I might enjoy the botchiness of this in the future, because I'm not going to do anything about this. Quilting is something that I do not master, that I want to master, but I'm very bad at it. But I will work on my skills at some point. Not today, but at some point. For now, I was looking at this and I was rethinking the ruffle idea. And I feel like it might be too much. I feel like this is, you know, enough. I don't know. I was looking at it and I love a ruffle, and I was thinking, ruffle will fix everything. Unfortunately for me, I don't think a ruffle is gonna fix this. So I'm just gonna make the bag and hope that I like it. Okay, let's go. So we're near the end. Actually, before I close this gap over here, I'm gonna go ahead and open this seam over here because in order to make the strap removable, I'm gonna have to install some of these things in here. And the best way that I found is by strapping this thingy over here into fabric and introducing it here and then sewing that shut. Yeah, I think that's the best way. And also, that would make this bag removable in case I completely and utterly hate what it looks like in the end. So it could just be a black bag, which is sort of accidental. However, the way things are going, I'm not gonna finish that sentence.
The last moments of making this bag were kind of tough. I noticed that by placing the hooks on the sides, I was going to need something to hold them in place. So I placed eyelets. However, since I used my button pressing machine, because at that point I wasn't too hopeful about liking this bag, the eyelets ended up looking very, very weird. Looking back, I should have taken the time to embroider, but it's never too late.
Well, I still don't know how I feel about this bag. On the one hand, I've made a somewhat reversible bag with no experience whatsoever, which is a fact that should make me happy. But on the other hand, I've been constantly changing my mind because I wasn't able to commit to one design. And I think that when it comes to sewing, planning is crucial. The decisions that we make before coming even near a sewing machine are the most important ones, I would say, notably the fabric choice and the pattern choice. I think that I got carried away imagining and picturing a very extravagant, cool, hype bag whilst browsing on Pinterest. And I think that I wasn't being too realistic about this whole thing. Not that I think that I can't make one of those bags, but because I think I thought I could make it by just winging it. But even though I picture this bag a bit differently, I think this is still a very nice bag. But if I had to do all of this over again, here's what I would do differently. First of all, I would reposition the ties because I'd like to make it more obvious that these are men ties. So I'd probably take the design, bring it a bit further to show the ending of the ties and patchwork some triangles to finish the bottom edge. The second thing is I think I needed to be smarter about the fabric use. I ended up running out of ties really earlier than expected. Again, because I had all of the shirring in mind and I ended up making the bag way bigger than I wanted it to be. The third one and the fourth one are really simple. The third one is I would like to have stuck to a design. And finally, I wished I had used the right tools. I think I will be making another bag at some point, but this time I think it would be wise that I extensively plan it out. But let me know what you think of the bag. Did you like the bag? Did it match your expectations? Were you picturing something else? Did I completely disappoint you? Anyways, that is all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to support, you can leave a comment. You can subscribe. Only if you want to. Only if you feel like it. And I just reminded you of something you already wanted to do. I post every week, usually on Thursdays. See ya.